As scheduled, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. attended separate bilateral meetings with Singapore President Halima Yacob and Prime Minister Livestream Loong. Agreements were signed during the very important meeting, including those related to counterterrorism and digital cooperation. Mark Fatalco tells us more.
On the second day of his state visit to Singapore, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. attended separate bilateral meetings with Singapore President Halima Yacob and Prime Minister Livestream Loong. His meetings highlighted the signing of various agreements between the Philippines and Singapore. These include the arrangement on counterterrorism, digital cooperation, development of New Clark City, personal data protection, and water collaboration. The joint communique on the recruitment of Filipino healthcare workers in Singapore was also signed. The leaders also discussed some issues on regional and international developments, including the disputed territory in the West Philippine Sea, where they underscored the importance of maintaining peace and freedom of navigation and overflight, and advanced negotiations for the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea in accordance with international law. Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles said the leaders also talked about ways on strengthening tourism in both countries.
Mutual agreement natin on yung standardization ng health certificates natin, well, that eases travel restrictions between the two countries. So it bolsters tourism both to the Philippines and to Singapore. So it's mutually beneficial, direct yan and immediate.
President Marcos Jr. also attended the Philippine Economic Briefing led with the Department of Finance and Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. During his speech, the President called the Philippines as Asia's fastest rising star. He emphasized that his administration plans to improve interconnectivity by developing transportation including railway systems, modernizing airports and seaports, and enhancing roads and infrastructure. In addition, he will also focus on agriculture to ensure food security and address poverty in the country. The government is also targeting to upgrade the status of the Philippines to become an upper middle income country.
In the next few years, our economy is expected to outperform our regional peers. My administration is committed to establishing an even more competitive business climate conducive to high-value investments. More investments translate to higher economic activity, more jobs, and a better life for all Filipinos. We invite strategic investors from the international community to take part in the Philippines' economic resurgence. We will change the game by structural reforms that we have set in place to allow for wider participation in our industries.
The President also attended a roundtable meeting with the Singapore business community to encourage more investors in the country. Earlier today, the President and the First Lady had a new orchid hybrid, the Dendrobium Ferdinand Luis Marcos, named in their honor at the Singapore Botanical Garden. They also joined Singapore Prime Minister Livestream Loong and wife Madam Ho Ching for a breakfast at the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore. The President is now on his way back to the Philippines after his first two state visits, bringing home different agreements that would surely benefit the Philippines. Mark Fatalco for The Nation.